Cheers, everybody, and welcome to Sips and Scripts, the podcast that brings together the best of both worlds, cocktails and movies. We'll dive into an all time favorite film or we'll explore the latest releases, but we'll always pair it with a delicious cocktail while we share our thoughts, opinions, and some fascinating behind the scenes trivia.
Or beside them.
Behind the scenes trivia, yes. I am Kirsten Jackson, and I am a blogger and cocktail influencer at lowcountry.com.
And I'm Terrell Bernard, and I hate musicals, but not this one.
Really?
That's true.
Awful.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yes, welcome to the show. We are back. So, a little disclaimer here, a little cleanup. We have been missing you guys for a few weeks here. Yeah. Terrell was getting new leg surgery, so he got a new metal pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for his leg, and yeah.
Yeah, and it also made me a foot taller.
Terrell, that might be the one thing
that they didn't need to do. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that might be the one thing that you didn't need was to be a foot taller.
Damn. Oh,
so how tall does that make you now? 7'6", 7'7"?
Mm-hmm. I'm really tall now.
Well, your ass can come to my house.
About to get in the draft, get picked up. Me and Bronny gonna play together.
No, you can't come to my house that tall. That's just outrageous. So, but anyway, today we're talking about Dreamgirls, and we have been announcing that we are going to go live and talk about Dreamgirls, but we've had some technical stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Technically, we ain't do it.
Technically, we ain't do it. Technically, we ain't do it. But we had good excuses. Terrell was getting his new leg. So, and life be lifing.
It do.
Life really do be lifing. So, but we are going to talk about Dreamgirls because we're coming in on the tail end of Black Music Month. So
yeah.
Here we are. So why not pick a musical? And I'm assuming that's why you chose this. It's Terrell's episode. That's why you chose this.
Yeah, I picked Dreamgirls because it's Black Music Month and it is a musical. And looking back on it and watching it again, I forgot how good it was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about our history with the film. How about you, Terrell? Share your history with the film with us. Why you chose it, when you saw it, all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I chose it because it's a really good musical. I hate musicals with a passion. Any other musical, I'd be like, yeah. This musical and The Wiz are probably like the only two musicals I'd be like, I can tolerate it. Any other musical can go to hell. But
it got to go all the way to hell.
Yes, I hate musicals. I hate them so bad. If y'all know any other good musicals, let me know. But I have it. The Wiz and Dreamgirls is the only two I'm like, I can give it that.
Okay. Well, then let me ask you this, and this is like one of my questions. Like, what I know. Okay, so Dreamgirls. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I want to ask it since you said that.
Okay.
But Dreamgirls is technically a musical. I mean, it's based on a Broadway play and based on the life of musical artists. So It is a musical. But what makes a movie a musical? Because when you say that, like, I'll often wonder if movies like Five Heartbeats or Temptations or like the New Edition movie, like, are those musicals or are they music films?
I think they're music. I would put that in the category of music films because they're not like breaking out in the song. Like they're like showing you how they crafted the song or how they were in the studio or how they did it on stage. Like during a musical, like you just bust out into a song for like no reason.
We are a family, like
entry. Exactly. Like what? Like if that happened during the Temptations, I'd be like, That's not how it happened. That's weird. Y'all tripping.
So that would automate. So if Ronnie and them bust out into we're a family like a giant tree, you'll be like, no, this is a musical, and I hate this now.
Yeah, pretty much. I would hate it with passion then, but yeah.
You would passionately hate it. Wow.
Yes, I would definitely. If they broke out like out of nowhere and just started singing a song, like, bro, that's not how it happened. That's not how New Edition got together. Like,
you don't know. You weren't there.
I don't have to be. I know no one gets together that way. Only in the musical.
You idiot. Okay. Well. All right. Okay. Well.
Oh yeah, but when I did, I didn't. I don't believe I saw this movie in the theaters because it was a musical, and I was like,
yes, you did.
I did. Really? Well, tell me about it. Tell me about my experience with the movie because I don't remember.
I'm so sad.
I really don't. It's like it was what 2006. That was a rough time for your boy.
Was it?
But yeah, I just came back from Arizona. Did I? I don't remember. Yeah, I just came back from Arizona. 06.
Okay, well then I'll share my history with the film, which includes you.
Oh well, let's get it.
We went to the movie theater in Savannah and saw it together.
Oh snap! For real?
Yeah, because remember, I was working at the boys' home and I took one of them with us. Yeah, so and we went to the movies and saw it in the theater. I was driving. For some reason, I had my mom's Cadillac. I don't know why I remember this so well. Probably, I mean, I don't know. But I was driving my mom's big old cruise ship Cadillac because I don't know where my SUV was. But so, yeah. And we saw it in the movie theater together because we were like, oh, man, it's coming out. We got to see it. And I was like, I got to work. And I was like, I'll figure a way around that.
Figure out how not to work. Like, I'm working, but I ain't really working. I take one of these kids with me. I'm technically working. Snatching up the kids.
So, yeah, we saw it in the movie theaters together in Savannah. And, yeah.
Well, there you have it.
My feelings are hurt that you don't remember that, but it's all good.
I can't remember everything.
You don't remember nothing.
True.
But anyway, yeah, so that's my history with the film. And I remember being very excited about it coming out and like, oh, we got to be there. We got to see it in the theaters. We cannot wait until it comes to TV or however that worked back then. So had to work, but I was like, yeah, we're going to go see it. So, yeah, we went to Savannah and saw it. And this movie, now I had to figure out what I was going to say or how I was going to say what I was going to say. But this movie is one of the few movies that like I've seen in the movie theater and it's like explosive on the screen, right? And it's still just as explosive when you watch it at home.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's a well done film.
Yeah, it's very fluid. Very fluid.
Yeah,
like and how it transitions from the acting to the singing. Yeah, it was very fluid. It was so well done. I was like, man, because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I was like, Dreamgirls. Do I really even like Dreamgirls like that? And then I started watching it, and I was like, I love Dreamgirls like that. I was like, man, this is my movie. but I just had to watch it for so long, I just forgot.
Yeah, and it's funny how, like, I was watching the film, and I was like, Terrell chose this, and I am surprised because when you first said, I was surprised that you chose it. Because thinking of Black Music Month, I would have thought you would have chose Purple Rain or The Temptations or something like that. But as I was watching, I was like, okay, I can see why he liked this because I feel like this movie is what's the best way to say this? It's almost like separated into two vibes, I guess that might be the best way, because there's like the story of the girls, right?
Yeah.
And then, but there's also like Jimmy Early is such a strong character, to where I can see where like even men would enjoy watching this movie because
Jimmy got soul.
Yes. Jimmy do got soul. And Jimmy got a lot of things. But I love it. I love it. Eddie Murphy really
he was the standout in this whole film. He really stole the show from me. And it was unfortunate that he was not awarded with an Oscar. I was very disappointed.
And no shade to Jennifer because she did an outstanding job.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was great. She was great too.
But I was like, Eddie, how? Because his performance was insane. Like he went from the top to the bottom to the junkie to the. I mean, it was
just transit. Yeah, like he had his own little arc within their arc, and it was just And I was like, man, it was. I can't say enough about Eddie Murphy and how well he did in this movie.
Yeah, this was really top tier performing from but Eddie, honestly, Eddie always delivers. He doesn't always have the best films, but even in his most trash films, he still delivers.
Mm-hmm.
So he is very consistent and reliable when it comes to like performance. So what can you say? But yeah,
I will say, guess what? Guess what time it is? Guess what time it is? It is time for the 60-second recap challenge. And guess who's getting challenged?
Can I just? We're going to do something new. We're going to choose a lucky audience member. And hey, can I just read the Wikipedia page?
No, because that's what I'm doing next.
Wow. Okay, 60 seconds on the clock. Dang it. Alrighty. So whenever
have fun.
Well, you got to count me in, sucker.
And
so yes, this is the portion of our podcast where we challenge the other host. The lead host challenges the other host to a 60-second recap of the film. So yeah, count me in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Dreamgirls is the story of it's really kind of like a fiction but also kind of reality based story of the Supremes, but it's basically about a Detroit girl group and their rise to stardom, but then also the conflicts within the group and outside of the group. Everything dealing from like a shady manager to body image issues and all that stuff. So anyway, we have a group, and then one gets kicked out, and then the one that's kicked out, they come back and they're like, hey, it's come back. I was supposed to be here in the first place anyway. And then the one that became the lead singer also grows and gets away from their shady management and then we have some great songs in the movie.
Okay. All right. That was something. that was 67s of things.
That's what I'm here for. Here to deliver.
Oh, thank you for that delivery.
You know what, Terrell? Look, okay, I think I owe you like about 1,000 apologies because for some reason when we have our guests on here, they always choose you.
Yeah, they do.
60-second recap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and yeah. I'll be like, shit, I could have done that. It's hard.
Yeah, it really is. You be thinking of stuff to say. You're like, I only got 6 seconds to talk about a whole 2-hour, 10-minute movie.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So yeah, and so with saying that, I really hope that moving forward, every guest we have chooses you because yeah, that shit's hard. So, damn. And I was like, I know the facts, but I gotta say them in order. That's what gets me. Yeah. So, but I think I did really well. Pat on the back for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Give yourself a hand clap.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, you jerk. Let's do a cocktail because I'm gonna need one after that because that was rough.
I think everyone needs one after that.
Really? It wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that good either. But
Yeah, yeah.
carry on. Carry on.
It
What we
really,
what we sipping on today?
you're a jerk, and I just want to make that clear. All right, so we are gonna do a cocktail called Deena's Sparkling Star.
Okay.
Isn't that such a heavy name for
Yeah,
one
it
little
is. One little drink.
good? So the Deena Sparkling Star is inspired by Deena Jones. The cocktail is elegant and refined. I mean, we're gonna drink it out of a champagne flute, so
Okay.
um, it's got a little bit of sparkle, and that's gonna reflect her rise to fame. And this movie is really sparkly, so why not? So obviously the character inspiration is Deena Jones, portrayed by Beyonce. Um, and she replaces Effie as the lead singer, and embodies grace and elegance. So yeah, so we're going to build this drink. So we're gonna start with a shaker,
All right.
and I'm using my good shaker this time. Woo-hoo! And we are using, how do you say this? Archival, arch rival,
Yeah, arch rival gin.
arch rival gin.
But
So
phonics work for me. All right.
it does not work for me. I'll tell you that. Boop. So this bottle was sent to us.
Oh, nice. Okay, thank you, arch rival.
Yeah. So first we're gonna put some ice up in here. We fill our shaker with ice. All right. And we are going to use 1.5 ounces of arch rival gin. So this is gin. And then we are going to use 1/2 ounce of elderflower liqueur. So Saint Germain, which I love Saint Germain. If I could open Saint Germain. All right. So because I like Saint Germain, I'm going to do a little more. It's very good stuff. It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
Heavy pour.
Heavy pour. All right. And then 1/2 ounce of lime. I'm not using fresh squeeze this time. Don't judge me. So 1/2 ounce of lime. And then we are going to give it a shake. Woo, to get it nice and chilled and all mixed together. Okay. And then we have our flute, champagne flute.
All right.
And we are going to pour our cocktail in here. And so while watching this movie, I was like, I was trying to pay, I always try to pay attention to what everybody's drinking in the movies that we pick. The only drink I saw them drink was champagne. So we have champagne that we're going to top this with.
Nice.
So we're going to top it with a little champagne.
Some champipple.
Champipple. And then, so a while back, I was sent some cocktail glitter from this company called Brew Glitter. And it was purple, like our film. Okay. So we're going to put just a little bit in here. And that is from, I hope it's not backwards, but Brew Glitter. And yeah. And so I don't know if you can see the glitter up in here, but we're going to add a lime slice. And here is our cocktail.
All right. Let's taste. It's good.
Very good.
That's what's up.
Very light, very nice. The gin, and I'm not a gin girl, so when I saw this, I was like, gin cocktail. I don't know. But that's pretty good. Okay. I can do gin in a cocktail, but
not by itself.
Gin is not my favorite.
You don't like your gin and juice?
Gin and juice. I ain't had gin and juice in a long time. Moving on. So yes. All right, Terrell. Bring us home. Let's talk about Dreamgirls. Open her up.
All right. Well, first, let's jump into the technical summary of the film. Dreamgirls, directed by Bill Condon, based on the 1981 musical by Henry Kinger and Tom Ian. The movie stars Jamie Foxx, Beyonce Knowles Carter, Eddie Murphy, Danny Glover, Anika, Noni Rose, Keith Robinson, and Jennifer Hudson, to name a few. This film was put together by DreamWorks and Paramount Pictures, came out December 4th, and then it was released in the United States December 15th, 2006. The budget was between 75 to 80 million, and it made 155.4 million at the box office.
Woo!
Yeah, so it was a juggernaut. It was one of those Christmas movies. For some reason, black people get a little shine during Christmas, because I remember a lot of black movies would come out around Christmas time. You'd be like, I'm gonna watch that, and then the whole family would just go watch it.
Yeah, people know when they release a movie around Christmas, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dreamgirls. That is the movie that we will be discussing today. All right. So while watching this movie, I was like, nowadays, I don't think there is one single R&B group newly formed outside of Wanye Morris's Kids. I can't think of any other group that's out today that actually has been formed in like the last 10 years or so. Why do you think that is? What happened to singing groups? Why do you think they don't exist anymore?
For reasons go ahead. My bad. You're supposed to answer than me.
Yes. I believe it's because of everyone wants to be the main character. Nobody wants to be behind the scenes. Nobody wants to do backup. Just like Effie at the beginning of the movie, she was like, backup for Jimmy Early. No, I can't do that. I don't do oohs and ahs. And I'm like, you got to start somewhere. Everybody who's big started somewhere, started backup for somebody. Jill Scott, Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston, like people that you be like, oh, these are like the voices of a generation. They all started doing backup for somebody. And I believe nowadays everybody just wants to be so in the forefront that they don't care. They just like, I just want to be the star. I just want to be a star. If I'm in a group, how can I be my own solo star if I'm singing with somebody or singing behind somebody? And sometimes it's just not meant to be for you to be the star. And I think that's why we don't have groups like we used to back in the day. What do you think?
I feel like a lot of like issues like that, like definitely what you stated, but also from a management perspective, I think it's easier to manage one person
than it is to manage more. Okay.
Yeah, because like, you have multiple people, multiple personalities, multiple singing styles, multiple schedules to work with, multiple like costuming and wardrobe. Just, it's, you're managing 3 people and trying to present them as one product.
Right.
So, and I think that is difficult. And then like music arrangements, you have to write for 3 different people, and like, the words, the lyrics, yes, but also like the arrangements of songs. That is like a job within itself. Mm-hmm. So I think it's easier to manage one person. But I do wish that we had more groups like we did, like, because the 90s was a great time for girl groups.
Yeah.
And when you put a girl group together and it works, I mean, the outcome is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, because like some of my favorite 90s songs are from SWV and In Vogue and Jade and Escape. Like, that was a great time for girl groups. And it's like, you always hear the same thing, and it could be rumors, but a lot of times it's not, that the girls didn't get along, or management favors one over the other, or one's not offered something that another is. I'm like, multiple issues. So I think also multiple people can just give way to multiple problems, so it is easier to manage one person. I do wish we had more girl groups. I think girl groups are so fun. And I feel like they're visually appealing too. Like when you are looking at a video, and I could be just speaking for myself.
Right.
Like when you're looking at a video or a live performance or whatever, to me, it's fun for my eyes to look at different people.
Right.
Instead of just one. And not that I don't enjoy solo acts. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I remember like kind of dissecting, like, oh, Cindy from In Vogue is singing this part, and Dawn is singing this part. Like for me, it might be because I just like music,
right?
But I wish that more focus and more attention was given to creating girl groups, but no. And then also you have these girl groups, but then it's always one person or maybe more than one person that wants to go solo. Yeah, they just want that. Like they don't want to be in the girl group.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's what they try to do. They want to have them spin off into their own thing, spin off into their own little lane, so they can. Because some people's vocal styles sometimes it's like, I want to try to change my style. Like throughout this film, like styles kept changing. You went from the doo-wop, you went to the R&B, disco, soul. They skipped so many different genres, and it was like that's what made the film so interesting. Like how they pulled from different periods of music, and you got to experience that throughout the film. So I was like, man, I mean, but but groups. I wish groups would come back. I really, really want to hear a really good group get together with some really good songwriters and put out some bomb ass music.
Yeah, that's like my favorite music from the 90s is from girl groups. Yeah. So I do wish that would come back. And we had a couple in like the 2000s, but like that is gone now. Like, do we even have a girl group out now?
I don't believe so. Mm-mm. Only thing we got now is if somebody from the 90s comes back, like SWV just put out a Tiny Desk recently. And I haven't seen the whole thing, but the clips I've seen, it is fantastic.
It's insane. And Coco's son was doing background vocals. I mean, it was just.
Oh, that's who that was? Mm-hmm. Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. It was really, really good. I have not watched the whole thing, but I've seen clips of it, and people have just been raving about it. Like I will say, Tiny Desk did really good this month for Black Music Month. I mean, we had Shaka Khan, we had what is it, Flo Milli, the young rapper. We had SWV. I mean, it was a crazy month for Black Music Month with Tiny Desk. It was really, really good. But yeah. So that's my answer. I have a question for you though.
Yeah. What's up?
All right. So What do you think about in this movie, like thinking about this movie, the gender and like power dynamics when it comes to gender in the music industry? Um, do you think that that was reflected in this movie? Because I know that it is definitely present. Um, like, I don't know, it seemed to me like I was wondering if like Beyonce's character Deena being like silent so much, was that because she was a woman, or was this just a different power dynamic that I was picking up on? Um, and you know, with Jennifer Hudson's character Effie being such a loudmouth, you know, and I don't know. People say that they love those kind of women, but they really don't. And it's sad because you should be able to speak up and take up for yourself. But what are your thoughts on gender and power dynamics in this film?
Yeah, well, this was like an older dynamic, so I believe that it followed the structure of the time. Like during the 60s, like that was the structure. The males, they basically ran everything. Once he married Deena, once Curtis married Deena, he basically had her lock, stock, and barrel, not only in a legal contract with the recording and her image and everything else, but in a marital contract. So she was locked down both ways with he got when she got involved with Curtis. So I believe, but she was kind of the more in the film, she was kind of like real, like kind of almost kind of like shy. Like she really didn't want the spotlight. She really didn't. She was enjoying what she was doing. She just wanted to sing. She just wanted to make it. So she wasn't real boisterous or really standing up for herself. And then the times that she did try to do that, Curtis would come and shut that down because that was the dynamic of that time. Back then, it was male dominated. The charts were dominated by males. This was just how they were able to get on with Jimmy early. So it was just the signs of the time. That's what I attribute that to. I don't like nowadays. I don't believe that would be the case. I believe someone like Effie would definitely have probably gone solo and been successful, or even more successful than Deena and the Dreams. So yeah, I think that's what that was.
I'm going to disagree with your last statement.
Go ahead.
Because I think nowadays it might be a little easier and a little more accepted that somebody like Effie would go solo and have a more successful career. But I do still feel like the music industry still largely tries to profit on creating a perfect product and a perfect package.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And like, but I do, you know, because we've got definitely some artists that do not necessarily fit into that mold that have had successful careers. I mean, we've got Jill Scott and India.Arie, like definitely. But I feel like as long as the industry is like male dominated, especially white male dominated,
right.
It's still like we need to create the perfect Black person to sell this music.
Yeah.
So
and I can see that, but sometimes that talent can overshine what you look like, because there's some people.
Sure. Yeah.
They might not be visually appealing, but the sound is so undeniable. Like you'd be like, I have to hear this person. This is someone that's just so powerful. The songs are just so good. It doesn't matter what they look like. Like it is undeniable that the talent is there and that they're just knocking everybody's socks off. So sometimes talent can be, it's just undeniable. And no matter what you look like, you're going to break through either way.
Yeah, I will. And I totally agree. And I like when I think about music done decades ago, like especially around this time, 50s, 60s, 70s. Like I think about artists that, in my opinion, should have had much bigger careers than they did have because they just weren't like aesthetically beautiful as far as industry standards. And it's like Donny Hathaway and Stephanie Mills, like they have had incredible voices. Stephanie Mills, who's obviously still performing, but you know, Donny, who has passed, they remarkable talents, but they did not have the careers that they deserved.
Right.
Because I'm assuming didn't have the look. I really don't know. But then you know, then you have those, and I think also I have to mention like one of the beautiful things about social media is that even though it is definitely difficult to build a following, social media has kind of evened the playing field when it comes to like talent, because if you have the talent and you can put yourself online, you can build your own following, and you don't have to wait on Mark or an executive to find you. Right. You can find your own audience, and then they come to you. They come to you and are
you
like,
already have a built-in audience, and that's what they want. They want eyeballs. If they can get eyeballs on it, and they can get you under their wing and get you away from what you're doing independently, and just get your audience. That's what they really want. They want eyeballs. Everything is all about gathering eyeballs, seeing how many people they can get in front of this certain thing, so they can put ads on it and sell it, repackage it, and sell it to everybody else.
Totally agree.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. So we've got a couple of comments. I'm sorry, I have not been paying attention to the comments. So, okay, but someone else answered the question. That someone came in and was like, "I just logged on. What movie are you talking about?" But someone else answered and said Dreamgirls. So yes, we're talking about Dreamgirls today. So yeah. Any other points, Terrell? Do you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to know, what do you believe the current challenges are in music today? Why isn't it as good as it was? Or is it as good as it was and it's past us and we're just living in a nostalgic rose-colored lens where everything was just great back in the day? Because I remember growing up, like, I didn't listen to a lot of different music. I listened to whatever was on at the house, or whatever records were at the house. And I just was like, music was so different then. I don't know if it was the sound or just how everybody was just so musical, or everybody could play an instrument, or everybody could sing well. And it doesn't seem like that's the case nowadays. It seems like they're just putting anything and everything out, and it's just not as good as it was. Or is that just me looking back and just thinking that it was better when it was about the same?
Okay.
So I just I believe the current challenges in music today is oversaturation of artists. I believe like it's so much music out there that you can't listen to it all. You really can't. You have to pick and choose, because no one has that much time on their hands to sit there and listen to. Let's say 10 albums come out every Friday, regardless of genre. You're not going to listen to 10 albums, full-length LPs. It's just not going to happen for you. So I believe it's an oversaturation, and I believe that the artists aren't properly developed as well. I believe that someone, let's say, they get a following online, they have this one song, it's really, really popular, TikTok gets a hold of it, social media gets a hold of it, and they start running it up, the numbers are going up, and people are trying to catch lightning in a bottle, and they throw these people on stages, and these people aren't developed and they're not ready. And then all of a sudden, you go see them live, and you're like, you're not very good at what you do. Yeah. And I don't believe it's any fault of their own, because if somebody was like, Terrell, get your ass on stage, we about to throw some money at you, I'll be right there with my broke leg, like, hey, what we doing?
we're about to throw some money at you.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So I mean, people do stuff like just to do it. I mean, but they're not really prepared for it, and it shows in their stage presence. And I think that was one thing that happened in the 90s. I believe there was a lot of the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of development. You went through all these different things you had to go through. You had the training, you had this, you had to go through. And just like I want to bring this up, but like making the band, like he really like they really had to go through like some type of boot camp to get them ready to be on stage, because being on stage and controlling the crowd is much differently than sitting in the studio singing your song, because people want a show when they come to see you. They just don't want to see you singing with the backtrack and you just standing in the thing going like this. Like, nobody wants to see that. People want to see a show. So I think that's another challenge that we have in the music industry today. What do you think?
Okay, so, and not to say that, you know, we weren't smart enough or intelligent enough to decide for ourselves, but I think that the way that music was presented decades ago is much different than how it is presented now. One, there's so many avenues for music. We hear music on social media. We hear songs on YouTube. We get songs on streaming. We get songs on TV. Like, everywhere is an opportunity to hear a new artist.
Right.
And, you know, when you and I were coming up, we had the radio and we had the music channels. MTV, BET, VH1, CMT, all that. I mean, you know, but so it was almost like we were kind of forced to listen to whatever new artist was out, whether we liked it or not, you know, because we didn't have the luxury of skipping a song. Right. We didn't have the luxury of thumbs downing a video. We just didn't have that. You know, we could turn the radio off, but then we weren't hearing nothing.
Exactly.
So
switch the station. You're like, oh, they on commercial.
Yeah, and then they're either on commercial or playing the same song.
Exactly.
So, and you know, because DJs and VJs control what we listen to. So, and I do think that the music back then was better. I mean, and maybe that's personal opinion, fine. Right. But I feel like we were just more focused on it and weren't able to really not focus on it. Now you can make your own music with AI, even if you're not even talented, like musically talented. You know, there's just so many different avenues to receive music and to receive like new artists. So I don't know, like yeah. What was the rest of the question? I want to answer the whole thing.
Just what are the current challenges in music that you think music is facing today?
Yeah.
Because like the BET Awards are coming on tonight, and I was listening to who's going to be on there, and I'm like, I'm not excited about seeing any of these people perform. And I'm like, it's being hosted by Taraji P. Henson. I'm excited to see her. But other than that, I'm like, it's kind of lackluster with your lineup.
and it has been for the past few years. Yeah. And I remember back, like when we were, and I just hate to be like, we just sound so old, like, you know, back in our day.
Yeah.
But
give us some of that Luther.
Yeah. But back when we were coming up, music award shows used to be a huge thing. We knew weeks in advance when it was coming on. Now it's like, oh, BET Awards coming on tonight? I didn't even know. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I might catch it. I might not.
Yeah. And most of the time I don't watch it. Like, but I feel like now, and this is not for every artist, obviously, because there are some that are really still focused on just the music, pure music. But it feels like we have quite a few artists that are focused on their image just as much as they are on their music.
Right.
And that's not to take anything away. And honestly, that sounds like a knock, but it's not, because I mean, the way we consume things now, you have to have an image.
Right.
Because
exactly.
like, take somebody like Cardi B. We know about as much about her music as we know about her long nails and her visually stunning videos on social media, and like her videos and her dancing. Like, that is an entire package.
Right.
And that's fine. That's fine, because like I said, we take in music more with our eyes now. Like back, we used to watch videos, but videos were not like this stunning. It used to be like somebody walking down the street, like Luther Vandross videos was him with some headphones on walking down the street.
Yeah, exactly. The only person who really pushed the envelope when it came to music videos was Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And even then, his videos, like, we might get a laser show.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is it? The Can You Feel It with the sprinkles?
Boom, 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 boom. Well, that's
and back then that was like to us.
I was amazed. I'm still amazed by the video. I don't
care. But now, let somebody come out with a video like that, that shit was boring.
Like, what was they thinking? Like,
we expecting we expect a lot from our artists. We expect them to sound good. We expect them to look good. We expect them to match our political views. Mm-hmm. We expect them to dance. We expect them to sell products for us. We expect them to have nice clothing and perfumes, like all of that stuff. It is all a package now. And it's as much our fault as it is theirs, because we take it in.
Exactly.
So I think
if we didn't support it that way, they wouldn't package it that way.
Right.
They would pivot and do something else.
Yeah. And back then, and like before us, like, this is not even us back in the day thing, but like 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, they expected 3 things from their stars: for you to sing, dance, and act. You had to be that you had to have those power 3. Anything else they could work with. Yep. But now it is an entire package. That's why I was like, there was such an interesting scene where Jamie Foxx was sitting with Deena's mother and was like, yeah, a product. I like how that sounds. And I was like, is this the birthplace of that? Is that where this has come from? Because the Supremes really were packaged, because this is obviously based on the Supremes. They were packaged as a product, and pushing Deena out to the front and Diana Ross out to the front was a strategic move.
Exactly. Yeah. Because they wanted to cross over. It was all about crossing over in this movie. And that's why I was like, it was so strange, because now everything is so blended together that you didn't think, like, not even 30 years ago, there used to be like the Black Music Award. Like, like, this is the best Black music. And I'm like, how is it like this 1993? Y'all still talking about the best Black song you heard this year? And it's like, because I just don't know. I'm on TikTok a lot, and I see videos like that where they show old stuff from old award shows, and it's like how it was so broken down and how it was so dissected and separated and segregated. And it was like, and I'm like, this isn't like the 1960s. This is like 1986. Like, so it's not that far. That's not that far removed. And it's like, just seeing that, and you just wonder, like, if everything was all equal and all put together, what would records look like? What would sales look like if you didn't stop this one person from crossing over or getting a bigger following? Because throughout the thing, they was like, okay, we have to get Jimmy Early, like it was something like the Copacabana type place. so they could cross over. White people see it, they hear it, and they're like, okay, he's not that bad. He's a good one.
Yeah, but he wasn't. No, I don't know. Like, I think that like plays into like respectability politics and like, is it important to cross over? And I feel like back, in the era that this movie, is filmed in, I think crossing over was much more important because that's where the money was. Like, people didn't fund Black artists. Now there's people that love to flock to Black artists and market off of them and profit off of them. They definitely don't get as much as white artists, of course.
No.
But definitely more than what they used to. But I don't know. That's just difficult to say. To answer, like, crossing over. Yeah, like, music is still very segregated. It was segregated back then. It's still very segregated now. I think probably not as much, but definitely still some segregation.
But is that because musical tastes have changed? Like, hip hop and rap is like, that's like the largest genre of music right now. Like, everyone's listening to rap. Like, I was watching the Kendrick Lamar Pop Out show, and I'm looking around in the crowd, and like, all I'm seeing is like a sea of white people. There was a lot of black people there, but like, you see like so many white people there, and I'm like, is it really like, did Kendrick Lamar cross over, or is it just that rap is so popular that everyone enjoys it?
I think, I don't know, because you've heard people talk about being white famous and being black famous, and so like, and I feel like Kendrick is an artist that everybody knows, and so maybe that is mainstream. Like, he is a household name now. Beyonce is a household name. Like, Jay-Z is a household name. So maybe that is what crossing over is nowadays. But I don't know if it is because he is appealing to white audiences more.
Yeah, I don't think I think he just does his art, and if you enjoy the art, you enjoy it. If you don't, you let it fly by.
Mm-hmm. But I do think with an artist like Beyonce, sorry, Beehive, but I do feel like, and maybe this wasn't intentional, but her early music did appeal more to white people. I remember when Lemonade came out, and there were so many white people that were like, I don't really like this sound. I don't really like this. And black people were like, because she reminded y'all that she black.
Yeah, I remember they did what was it, a Saturday Night Live sketch where they found out that Beyonce was black, and then white people was going nuts. It was like, what?
Yes, I remember that. Yes. And so I'm not in Beyonce's camp. I can't speak to that being a strategic move or not, but I know it was there. And so I don't know. And so when it comes to that, I guess my question for you is, how do you feel about like things that are done like that? Because I know Beyonce, especially early Beyonce, was packaged, especially by her father, Matthew.
Oh yeah, Matthew Knowles.
Yeah. Definitely packaged. So
to appeal to everyone.
Yeah. So like the challenges of adapting your music and image to appeal to like broader audiences. What are your thoughts on that? I personally feel like so with this movie, I felt like, yeah, ideally I'm like super black, and I'm like, keep it black. But I understand why it was done.
Yeah.
I understand. Because like And the one thing about it is when I was watching the movie, I was mad with Effie. I was like, yeah, that's real fucked up. But then it took Cece. And I was like, why didn't they just go with Cece's explanation in the first place instead of like railroading her like that? Like Cece, which was Effie's brother, it was like, your voice is special. And it is. It is.
Yeah, very special.
But we need a lighter sound to cross over to the pop charts. Nobody is on, in the 60s, nobody is on pop charts growling on records. Black people love that sound. We love heavy, throaty voices. We love that. But on the pop charts, that's intimidating to white folks back then. Yeah. Like, because you saw how Jimmy Early was in Copacabana.
And they was looking at him like, right. They was almost scared. He wasn't even doing that.
Yeah, he was mild compared to the Jimmy Early that we know and love.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, why didn't they just explain it to her that way? Because that made sense. Like, we need a lighter sound. They need more of the oohs and the ahs and the cooing kind of singing. Then we need the growls and the, you know. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that scene? And then just, you know, crossing over.
I believe it's important to cross over because like Jimmy's manager was like, oh, I got Jimmy booked on all these tours going there, but Curtis was like, yeah, but it's the Chitlin circuit. You're not getting no bread on the Chitlin circuit. You just wasn't getting paid that much back then. And if you're able to cross over, it doubles and triples your money. And that's what it's really all about. The music business.
But do you lose your integrity?
Ooh, it depends on what you do. It depends on how you move once you cross over. Like some people cross over, like you said, Beyonce, she crossed over and then she was like, I'm pro-black. And like it stunned people.
In case y'all forgot.
He's like, yeah, I'm about my people. And then so it was like, damn, it was a shock to the system, but they still came back around. She even put out a country album. She even did this. She did that. I mean, it depends on what you do with your crossover ability. Whatever you do with it, if you want to go around cooning for white folks, more power to. Yeah, you got that cooning for white folks to knock yourself out. But if you're out there and you have something to say and like you crossed over and you're like, okay, well now I get to say what I really want to say. I say it's all good. I don't mind a crossover. I mean, because I think people should be able to enjoy whatever music they want to enjoy, regardless of who sings it or how it sounds. I just enjoy, like, it's certain artists. I'm like, I'm getting into like all types of different types of music, and it doesn't matter the artist. I don't even know most of the artists' names of the music that I'm listening to now. It's like, it sounds really good. I thoroughly enjoy it. So I listen to it.
Right.
So that to me, that's a crossover because like, it's not even just, oh, I'm only listening to black artists. I'm listening to whoever sounds good, whatever sounds good, whatever feels good to me while I'm listening to the music.
Right. I agree. And I feel like if you flip it around, just like you said, like me, I've always kind of had like an eclectic musical taste, so I'll be listening to some weird stuff or what people perceive as weird, but like some of that stuff is because thank God they went mainstream and their music was circulated more, and so I was able to hear it and like it and put it in my collection. So I guess like because when the Dreams, you know, when they went mainstream, we saw them in Tokyo and they were in Brazil. And it was like, we got these three black girls from Detroit. And now people are at home seeing their album covers and seeing them on TV, seeing these three little black girls. And it's like, well, if they can do it, I can too. So it's almost like there are some definite positives when it comes to being mainstream and focusing on going mainstream. And I definitely think that there are some negatives too. because it is quite easier to lose yourself once you get that to that level of stardom.
Right.
But it's you have to just work on maintaining your integrity and having that be vital to your survival, like maintaining your integrity. So yeah. um I have one last question. I don't know if you have any more questions. I have
Okay.
one last question for you.
Go ahead. What you got?
Do you think that, okay, Beehive members, turn your little ears off, okay? Boop, boop, boop. I'm a Beehive. Well, I don't think I'm a Beehive member, but I am a Beyonce fan. A very strong white Beyonce fan, especially after Lemonade. Um, but Beyonce's performance in this movie was very lackluster to me. I don't think she's a good actress, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Damn.
But listen, Beyonce has other super strengths. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
so there is and I feel like I'm like heavily leading up to my question, but it's almost like God, and I love Beyonce. So sorry if I cancel our own damn podcast by saying this, but because I absolutely love her. But it's almost like when you see Beyonce in interviews and in videos and in movies, she is like deadpan. But then when she sings, there's like all this personality, this fierceness, this aggression.
Yeah.
Like, and she can, when she's singing, she can play so many different personalities and roles. Like, she can be coy, and she can be mysterious, she can be happy, she can be excited, she can be angry. Like, it's like all these things. I was like, I wish she could apply that to acting, but that's just not her strength.
Yeah. And I think she acts because it calls for her to act. I don't think she acts because it's something that she's passionate about. I'm not sure. I don't know Beyonce, but like you said, the performance, I thought she played a good Deena. I think she was good
Only
as
because
Deena.
the role Deena calls for that.
Yeah.
But even in the end, where she was given more flexibility with that role, like, because she was now essentially being a silenced woman, and trying to fight her way out of that situation, and it was still like, okay, I mean, I believe it, but okay.
Dang.
But we don't see the real passion and the real trying to claw her way out of that situation until she's singing Listen.
Yeah. And that is my favorite song. I know everybody and I'm telling you, but to me, Listen, that gives me the feels. It just does. That's probably my favorite song on the whole soundtrack.
I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but it's a good one. But
Because especially in the way that it was happening during the film, I was like, that really blew me away. I was like, man, like, bro, you should have been listening.
oh God, did you get a little tear right here? Just a little one?
Everybody know, hey, if something moves me, you gonna get a little tear.
You just a little one in the corner. I know it don't. It's funny because it don't never drop, but it just stay right there.
Exactly. Just up there, just holding on tight.
But my question, I say all of that to say, my question is, do you think that Beyonce was able to convey the emotion that song called for? Because maybe she was pulling from her experience of breaking free from her father's management.
Ooh. Huh.
And my answer is I think so. Beyonce, even though she does do the occasional interview, she's quite mysterious. So we'll never know. But I do feel like that, and just honestly being a woman, period. Every woman feels like they've been silenced before. And so, maybe pulling from some of that. But I think like And even though her and her dad are on better terms now, they weren't for a while.
Right.
And so yeah, I do think that. What are your thoughts?
I never thought of it, but yeah, I could see why you can when you're acting like that. I've never acted before, but I believe that if you are acting, you should be able to pull from if it's something going on in your personal life, it's something that you've gone through that's similar to the character that you're putting out there, that yeah, definitely you could pull from breaking away from your father's management and also breaking away from Curtis, because Curtis Curtis was he wasn't the bad guy, but he was the bad guy because of everything that he did. He did everything for a reason, because he wanted them to be big. He wanted to make it. He wanted to be successful. And during that time, I think you had to do certain things to gain that level of success. But once he started doing things that were just over the top shady, then like Deena was like, okay, that's enough. Like
that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Like you
I
heard
agree.
somebody
I feel
who
like
we started out with, like we childhood friends.
yeah.
We've been together in this singing group since we were 12 years old. We're grown up now, and you're still going out of your way to hurt this one person who's not hurting you whatsoever, who can't even touch you. You're basically Motown, and you're like, but I'm going to step on this small person because I feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see her getting away from Curtis and also getting away from her father's management and putting those two together and being able to pull from that and put out a very convincing performance of
Yeah,
listening.
it made T-Rex tear up. So yeah, very convincing.
Exactly.
And it's so funny though, because like when you watch this film, or at least when I watch it, I'm like, Curtis wasn't really that bad. I mean, he maybe I'm looking at it with my 2024 eyes, because I'm like, he pretty normal record exec, like cutthroat.
Yeah, like that's like, yeah, what the stuff he's doing, they doing worse now.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's got to be worse now. Like he was real just, I mean, he was an asshole, but
during that time, you had to be. He was a shrewd businessman. He sold cars, so he started selling cars, and then he got
I
into
feel like it wouldn't have been no worse than if they would have left him and went to other management. Like,
yeah, and that thing, it's just like New Edition. Like they was like, oh man, the management sucks. We not making no money. Then they switched management. And then they were like, oh man, the management sucks. We ain't making no money.
Yeah.
Like damn, like it's just people are out for themselves, and if they can use you to get to where they need to get to, that's what they're going to do. That's just how it goes. Not even in the record industry, just in life, period. If people
And it was evident, like, it was evident, like, that there are shrewd record execs out there other than Curtis, and that's really just how business is done. Not saying it's right, because look at how the white folks stole that Cadillac car song and just put it out there and was like,
what do we do? It's a hit, guys.
Yeah. They're like, who'd you say sang that song? Doesn't matter.
We're singing it now.
Record.
And they was sitting there. They had a music video and everything. I'm like, y'all might have took it a little too far.
It live.
Yeah.
Video
like
on the
American Bandstand.
I was like, the audacity.
Yeah. They real, and they was real like, we own this song. This is us.
Yeah. I mean, they snatched it. And so yeah, I and not to excuse bad behavior, because I mean, you should be kind, but kindness don't cut it, sugar. So
no. Right.
It is what it is. But yeah. So any final thoughts?
Man, I don't know. The final thoughts, this was a masterful movie. I forgot how good this movie was. I forgot how much I loved these songs. I was I was actually happy that I went back to this film. I'm thoroughly.
I'm glad you chose it. It's like,
Yeah.
same here, because I was like, I know I loved it when I saw it in the theater. I know I saw it at least once at home. But I was like, why don't I watch this movie more than I did? Because it was like, that was great. And then I stuck it back in the archive, and it was like, I could watch this again.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think I've seen it since we talked about doing it. I've seen it 3 times. I've literally watched it 3 times because I enjoy the film. I thoroughly enjoy the film.
Yeah, it is enjoyable, and it looks so good. It's one of those movies you could put it on mute and still watch it because it just looks. It is very like a visually stunning film.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good looking movie. So, but yeah, I don't have any final thoughts. I guess we can move into best, worst, weirdest. So this is the portion of our show where we talk about the best part of the movie, the worst part of the movie, and the weirdest part of the movie. So, what, Terrell, how about you show them how it's done?
All right. Okay. The best part of this film, I enjoyed the transition from where they are acting and then when they slide into the musical number. It's done seamlessly. It doesn't seem forced. It doesn't seem like, that doesn't fit there. It's like a progression. You hear the music cue up, then all of a sudden they're talking. They slide into the song, they sing the song, they slide out of the song, and they're back to talking. It's seamless. And every time they did that in the movie, I was like, that was very well done.
Yeah.
Because the guy who directed this, Bill Condon, he also directed the last 2 Twilight movies. And I'm like, you did really good with Dreamgirls, but then you directed 2 Twilight movies.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, look, people love Twilight. It's not my cup of tea, but people love it. So I guess that's well done.
Yeah, so that was the best part of the film to me. The worst part of the film to me was I believe that they should have delved more into Effie's situation. They kind of glossed over it. She was like, I got pain. And they was like, get out the group. We don't care. Get your ass out the group. And the brother was like, yeah, you got to go. And all of a sudden you see her years later with this child. It was like, was that the pain she was feeling? Was it pregnancy pain? Was she sick? Yeah. Did she have something going on? Like, what's going on? Why are y'all not really delving into what's going on with Effie? So I thought that was the worst part of the film. And the weirdest part of the film, this was the hardest part for me to come up with because I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Probably a weird part of the film would have been what was weird? I just can't. I'm just make one up. The talent show at the beginning. That was weird.
That was like one of my favorite parts.
No, that was a really good part.
Thank you. Come up with a weird one.
All right, the weird part of the film was how they just slid the white folks in there to sing that song, and they sung it so generically. It wasn't even a bop no more. It was.
What song?
The Cadillac car song.
I actually enjoyed that.
It was like I was like, what is this? Yacht rock? Am I about to go to sleep?
Not yacht rock.
I was about to take me a fat nap on that song.
Oh my goodness. Because it was so smooth.
Yeah, it was too smooth.
It was too smooth. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So for me, the best part of this movie is just, like I said a few minutes ago, just how visually stunning and visually appealing it is. The costuming, this sound, the movie is an experience. It is just good looking, good sounding. I feel like the acting wasn't like top tier superb, but it was definitely better than good enough.
Right.
And I didn't realize that it won 2 Academy Awards. I know that Jennifer Hudson won. but then it also won for I think best sound mixing.
Yes, it did. Mm-hmm.
So
I was looking at that. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I feel like this movie should have won more. Eddie Murphy was snubbed.
Yeah, big time. Oh my God.
I think costuming should have gotten. Was it at least nominated for costuming? Because I feel like it should have at least been nominated. Let me check because I have to know. But it was nominated for, let's see, for Academy Awards. Oh, it was nominated for costume design and art direction. And Eddie Murphy was nominated for Best Supporting, but he did not.
He did not win, which he should have.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was nominated for like 3 of the songs. Listen, Your Listen was nominated. Love You I Do was nominated. Patience was nominated. Which I didn't really enjoy Patience that much, but Patience, little sister.
Hey, had to hit you with that little Marvin Gaye "What's Going On" vibe.
It did. It was, and it was. I don't know, and I think why I didn't enjoy Patience was because I was like, okay, this is supposed to be like a whole What's Going On, but I love What's Going On so much that nothing can touch that. So, and I'm sorry, that's just me.
No, I feel you.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I was like, I see what you're trying to do. You're not doing it, but I see what you're trying to do.
So I see what you're trying to do. Like, you tried it.
So, and I think like the worst part of the movie for me was, I think the worst part for me was, I wish that, okay, so Curtis was an asshole, like we just said, but I wish we could have seen him do something a little more dirty to where we could be like, man, I really hate that motherfucker. Like, something like that.
It was really hard to hate him. You saw, like, toward the end, he was like, he's kind of an asshole, but like, he's just older. I believe he's just older now. And he's at the top, so it doesn't matter. You can do
like he wasn't asshole enough for me.
Right.
Like, and I mean, I get it. He definitely was an unlikable character. But to me, like we just said, he was a regular exec. Like, do cutthroat deals and do shrewd business, and that's just normal. I wish we could have been like, he tried to put a hit out on Effie or something, like just something crazy.
Pushed her down the stairs. Oh no!
Yeah, guys, he would have pushed her down the stairs. I'm ashamed that I would prefer that. I'm real ashamed because, of course, I don't want any harm done to anyone, but especially women. But
yeah, but something got to give. He wasn't that bad of a person where you'd be like, I hate him at the end of the movie. I was like, when she left, I was like, good for you, Deena. And I still was like, you all right with me, Curtis?
Listen, to me, Curtis and Deena were on the same level. Like, because Curtis, yeah, he was an asshole. He was a shrewd businessman. He did Effie wrong. Okay, fine. But Deena did Effie wrong too. Like,
yeah, they glossed over that. They glossed over that real quick.
And like, she came out shining like a new kitty.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay. Damn. Deena was like, oh no, I can't do this because my mom won't let me. And she snuck out the house and left a letter for her mom. And then all of a sudden you sleeping with the dude, and that's supposed to be your friend.
And end up marrying the man, and you like, it was like, Deena is not innocent in this, and she was really set up to be innocent in this, and it was like, okay, so she's just as guilty as Curtis. I mean, Curtis was an asshole, but Deena, to me, that's worse. Like, at least you know up front what kind of person Curtis is. Exactly. Deena was like, but then you do something underhanded like that. Like, which is worse? Someone that you wouldn't expect that behavior from, or somebody up front that's like, I know you an asshole.
Yeah.
So
she hit him with a real sneak attack. And she was up in there, and then all of a sudden they was married. We was like, the movie is still moving along. Everything seems normal.
Yeah, So I was like, okay, they could have added a little something in here to make us hate Curtis more. Like if he would have found out she was pregnant and then pushed her down the stairs, or had somebody push her down the stairs, yeah, we hate that dude. So
yeah, just like Red on the 5 Heartbeats, like you hated Red, you hated him.
Yeah.
It was like it was true hate for Red. He was like, someone get this nigga. It was like just make you angry.
Exactly. So this I'm like, okay, well, all righty then. But yeah, so that's the worst part for me. The weirdest, I think I'm gonna struggle with this too. I don't know, maybe the weirdest was how Beyonce kept spinning around with that damn mic on the stage and how she didn't get caught up in that damn wire. That needed a whole behind the music episode to explain to me. Because every time I watch it, I think about that.
I think that's just, I don't know. I think that's, if you're like a really good performer, I think you can do it. Like Michael Jackson did it for years. It was like
spin around with wired mic.
Michael Jackson was like, what's this one? I was watching a TikTok where they showed Michael Jackson actually get wrapped up in the cord and he dances his way out of the cord. And that shit looks seamless. He wouldn't even play. I was like, damn, Mike.
Yeah, man, that's some sheer talent. Okay, Beyonce got that kind of talent. I'll give it to her. Okay.
Just know how to get out of the situation and just look flawless doing it. Like,
yeah. So and probably that's fresh on my mind because I was just watching this YouTube video where it was like a little clip of a Living Single episode when they were had the little music group and Max got caught up in the chord and fell off the stage. I was like, that should have been Deena, but okay. Yeah, so that's my best, worst, weirdest. My weirdest was lackluster, but hey.
Yeah, this movie really didn't have anything weird going on. Unless anybody else knows anything weird. Y'all can throw that in the comments. Y'all saw anything weird in the film.
Yes, anything that was just weird to you, please let us know. Or maybe we'll think about it, give us some thought, and come back and answer. Because, sometimes after these episodes, I'll be like, yeah, maybe I should have said that because that was weird as hell. So, yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on to happy hour. Woohoo! It's happy hour. Terrell, this is a portion of our podcast where we choose a character to have a drink with. So, it's happy hour, Terrell. Who you having a drink with? What character and why?
Having a drink with Cece. I just
like Cece. Now I did not expect you to choose Cece.
Yeah, man. Creative people that like can sit down, put words down, and make them and bring them to life, and other people sing them, and it sounds like wow. I like to talk to people like that. That's people that are creative like that and that can have that skill. I always are intrigued by. So yeah, I definitely have a drink with CC because he wrote all the songs. Like he wrote every song. It was like, damn, man, writing the hits like it wasn't nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, let me take my drink.
And now who you
for happy hour? I'm having a drink with Curtis. Because I want to hear Curtis' explanation because he seemed like the type to be like, see, what I was trying to do was.
Yeah. Oh, he got an explanation for you.
Yeah. And I want to hear it. I wanted to be like, see, Effie didn't have the right look. I was trying to really help them hit the mainstream. But see, they didn't understand. See, they didn't want the brother to make choices for them. But I knew better. And I want to hear that.
Oh, you know he gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
He gonna get, and it's gonna be so smooth. You gonna walk away. You gonna be like,
yeah.
I see what he's talking about. I feel
them bitches didn't know. Exactly. Like, so yeah, I'm having a drink with Curtis. So yeah. Well, what you binging this week, T-Rex?
Man, I started watching the John Wick movies. I saw the first one. And I didn't see any of the other ones. And I'm like, let me sit down and watch these John Wick movies. Okay. So that's what I was doing. I watched 1 through 3. I just have to watch the 4th one. I'll probably do that after this. So
Okay. Well,
John Wick.
For me, so along with it being Black Music Month, it's also Pride Month. And so I've been like following the prompts on my TV, like with queer programming. And So probably later, I don't think it'll be today, but this week I'll probably watch the Netflix special with the queer comedians.
Oh, okay.
It's like Wanda Sykes and Lily Tomlin and all those, like a bunch of queer comedians, and they're just going to talk about the history of the community and comedy and today and all that stuff. So I've also rewatched Pose a couple of times, and you know me, I will run things back. And
Don't you say Supernatural?
I shut your mouth. How about that? Um, I watched Supernatural in between, but there was also something else that I watched that was along the lines of that programming. But I can't remember what it was. So yeah, I've been focusing on.
And I know I'm super late with this, but if you have not seen the 4th Bad Boys, go out and watch it.
I haven't seen it yet, but honestly, I don't think I've seen the 3rd.
You don't need to see the 3rd. You can just go watch the 4th. 4th is awesome.
I heard that the 4th was awful.
Really? Wow. I thoroughly
look.
I'm like
full
I'm
disclaimer, folks. Terrell is a Bad Boys super fan, so it could be Bad Boys and they just swimming in a hot tub, and he'd be, that was the greatest movie alive, and I've never seen anything greater. So
like, Will Smith, Mark Lawrence, you tell me it's Bad Boys? Sign me up.
The first one, I know I've seen the first one, obviously. The second one, that's the one with Gabrielle Union in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The third one, I don't think I've seen that one.
It came out right during COVID, right when COVID hit.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. I have all of them. And when the 4th one comes out, I'm getting that one on DVD as well. Because you know how I get.
Did you say you're getting on DVD?
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, and I know you love it if you're getting it on DVD.
Yeah, man, I ain't playing. Hey, I ain't playing. That Bad Boys 2 right here, about to pop that in. I don't play.
Anyway, well, so that is well, I do plan to see it.
You should. Yeah. And tell me what you think. I enjoyed it.
I know you'll add it to the calendar, so
of course.
But yeah. So yeah, do we have any final thoughts?
No, I believe that is all.
All right. Well then, thanks everybody for tuning in today. We had a amazing time discussing Dreamgirls. Thank you for choosing it, Terrell.
Yeah.
We hope that you enjoy listening to our thoughts and insights. And if you want to know more about Sips and Scripts, you can head over to our website, sipsandscriptspodcast.com, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sips and Scripts Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, whether you just want to say hey, or you want to suggest a film, or share your thoughts on today's episodes, or even answer our best, worst, weirdest question. Drop us a DM on social media. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Peace.